Good evening, everyone! Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants, and of course I'm your host here, YouTube Messiah, and often imitated, never duplicated Super Saiyan Vicious, and we're gonna talk about Raw this week. Was in Des Moines, Iowa, and you know, I'm not gonna lie, folks, I dug the shit out of this week's episode. It was actually a decent one. It was seeing the fallout from the Superstars shakeup and all. And this episode, it had a real nice feel, like a changing of the, I don't want to say changing of the guard, but it felt like, okay, we're seeing new shit. Or not even so much, if you don't even have to say new shit, just different. You know? Quite possibly, first and foremost, the Bray Wyatt vignette. I got no way to describe it except it looks like Bray Wyatt found the perfect hybrid of Mr. Rogers and the Last House on the Left. That's really the most I can say on that. Other than that, you know, big news outside of WWE that has happened. Twat Waffle and Big Ass are if you want to get by their actual names, Enzo and Cass. Apparently, when they did that surprise jump the rail thing at the Ring of Honor show at the Garden, that was planned. Nobody knew. That pissed off a lot of people. And now apparently they're already out of Ring of Honor. So, good riddance, bad rubbish, you know. That also, big news, effective today, the day of this recording, Jazz, who was the NWA Women's Champion, vacated the title. She did not go into specific reasons, but she did say it was for personal, so not my position, not my job to, I don't want to know, you know, what's personal is personal. All I could say is, hope everything goes good with her. She's always been a hell of a performer. Absolutely loved seeing her growing up, seeing her in ECW, you know, hope for nothing but the best. That said, now let's get started with this week's episode. Starts out with the God King himself, Hunter. He comes down. Not what you would think in regards to coming out to boast about on how he got a win over Batista and made Batista retire for good and all that. No, which the benefit of hindsight is also a good thing, because really there's no need to promote it, no need to beat a dead horse, now that I think about it. But also he's out there hyping up on how the shakeup happened, there's going to be new opportunities for people, this, that, and the other. And then out comes Seth, who's now boasting about on how he's the Universal Champ, he's the man. You know, pretending I got the title right there. He's going to be the standard bearer for Monday nights. And then Hunter says, well, I'm glad you think that way, because, you know, you got that title, you're the man. You got a hell of a target on your back. You got the entire world coming in for you. And then comes out freaking pretty much everyone that they announced earlier in the day that was going to be in a triple threat match. Joe, Rey Mysterio, AJ Styles, Baron Corbin, Miz. Yep. Yeah, everyone was talking about on how they are going to get their shot. Yeah, Drew McIntyre hit the nail on the head by far when he came out saying for over a year straight he's been cleaning house and hasn't gotten his shot yet. Now it's time for his. And I have called it before. I didn't see McIntyre being the guy that was going to dethrone Brock, but I definitely see McIntyre being the guy that dethrones Seth. And why not? Why not? You know, the man has a fucking killer look. He's, you know, I'll never really push much for a physique, for body guys, physiques and all that, but if you're going to look for a wrestler, just a prototype for what a wrestler should look like, physique-wise, take a fucking look at Drew McIntyre from the neck down. Just, there you go. Just, honestly, you could pretty much hear any woman's ovaries explode the second they see him. You know? The guy can fucking work. He's got that, and he's got fucking aggression, and he's hungry. He's hungry. That's what I love most about McIntyre. He's hungry. He wants his damn shot. And that's what I can't wait to see. So, yeah. They all come out. They're all building up for it. So, now we go into the first of 2 triple threat matches. The winners of both triple threats face off at the main event. And then the winner of that match goes against Seth at Money in the Bank. So, the first triple threat. Samoa Joe, Rey Mysterio, and Uncle Allen himself, AJ Styles. And decent match. What I absolutely loved, I love the one-on-one between AJ and Rey Mysterio. I'm hoping at some point we can get more of that down the line on Monday night. Hopefully we can get that sometime soon because, man, them two could tell a seriously good story in the ring if you give them 15 minutes and an opportunity. Whoo, man, they could put on a show that would rival any main event in the Tokyo Dome, I bet. You know? Now, thing I absolutely loved was how Joe would come in and pick his shots. Joe would pick his shots and come in like that, and I liked seeing that, you know. And I always give Samoa Joe credit where credit's due because he's a heel, and he's a good heel, but he put it best. The best kind of villains don't see themselves as villains. They see themselves being better, greater than what the hero is, you know. Like, we'll say, for example, you know, we'll use the cartoony comic book example. You look at He-Man and Skeletor. Skeletor, yeah, obviously, over-the-top, flamboyant, evil, bad guy. But he never saw himself as what he was doing was wrong. He saw He-Man being the pain in his ass to get rid of him so he could get to his main goal. He saw himself as the main hero. He saw himself as the greater good. You know? That's on how a good villain is. They think they're better than the hero. Now, back to the match. Now that I'm done breaking down a little bit of sense to yous. Dug the match. It was decent for a good opening match. It came to an end. Rey, he wound up hitting a 619 on Joe. And just as he was about to jump over to go do a drop the dime, Styles caught him. Boom! Powerbombed him on Joe. Took a few steps back. Clipped him over. And then hit a Styles Clash onto Joe. And then pinned. So, yeah. Fucking beautiful. I love the hell out of that finish. You know, there were like 3 or 4 breaks in that match. And that annoyed the hell out of me because I'm just thinking, there were no rest hold moments. There were no... this is the one triple threat I really want to see. Why the fuck are you giving me so many fucking breaks in the middle of it? And then you give me this really awesome ending. Okay, I'm good. I'm cool. You made up for it. I'm good. Next up, we get a really... I wish I could say this was a piss break, but I can't even because... The piss break matches typically don't have a story or a meaning to it. This one kind of did in a way, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. Naomi went against Billie Kay from the Iconics, and this was meant to be because last week Naomi got the win over them, and really, very much so, short-lived match, squash, Naomi got the win, you know, but it's obviously to tell for a build-up that they're working to make a story for them. So, yeah. You know, now if it was just a random squash match, yeah, then it would have been a piss break. But if you can make it a squash match lead to a story, I'll save you. I will vindicate it and not give it a piss break award. Next up, we get the next triple threat match. Miz, Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre. Now, Miz, man, I gotta give credit where credit's due. I fucking have been loving the Miz's work ever since he did that shit on Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack a few years ago. And he is just, that ball is still shooting far out of the park, man. He is fucking killing it, you know. He's got this new bit of attitude and aggression now that he's going with Shane. He's fucking he's over with the crowd. He's over like fucking Rover, man. And it's amazing. Now, what I liked seeing on how Corbin and McIntyre were doing double team on him, and then Corbin eventually going and doing that, boom, taking a shot at McIntyre. You just see McIntyre sitting over at the corner. And, you know, the way my son saw it, he, you know, God bless my son, he put 2 and 2 together real quick. He was like, Corbin just hit McIntyre? Uh-oh. McIntyre's just standing there. He's mad. He's gonna go nuts on him. And yeah, you know, and fucking, it worked. It was beautiful. I fucking dug the shit out of it. My son did also. He absolutely loved it. And you know, the 2 measuring sticks on how I tell if the show is decent. 1, are you keeping me entertained? And 2, is it something that my son is going to be, is it something that my 9-year-old is able to take in, process, and not think like, well, why the hell are they doing that? You know? Because if you're going to have a 9-year-old sit there and scratch their head like, Dad, why are they doing this? Then, boom, you fucking lost it for me. But you got him sitting there like, oh shit, that ain't gonna go well for him. You got him hooked. And if you can get him hooked, you're gonna get the old man hooked. So there you go. Now, nice act. The action for the most part was led by McIntyre in this triple threat, which again, really dug, really loved. I dug on how the match came to an end also because, you know, Miz, he threw Corbin over the rope. Next thing you know, turned around and McIntyre, boom, caught him with a claymore. And just as he did, Corbin gets in, throws McIntyre out and steals the pin. 1, 2, 3. That is it. And then, yeah, just that look of anger and frustration on McIntyre when he sees the 3 count of boom, you see it. McIntyre is going to fucking kill now. And that's great for him. Because now that just makes him more hungry and more. You know, and honestly, I will say this. Yeah, I do want to see McIntyre with the title. But right now, he is far better as the hunter as opposed to the hunted. Next up we get the Raw return of Cedric Alexander. He's now on Monday Night Raw going against Cesaro. So Cesaro is now on Monday nights, not Sheamus. And a lot of people were blowing up. Saw a lot of questions on my timeline saying, oh, why is Cesaro still wearing trunks for the bar? Why has he still got the music for the bar? If it's just him on Raw, and the bars broke up, why are they still like that? Okay, guys, it's simple. Cool the brakes for a minute. Stop going into an all-caps rage and listen. Look, rewind the clock a few years back when Seth broke up the Shield. The first week to 2 weeks after he did, he still came out in riot gear. He still came out in the Shield riot gear. You know? It's going to take a minute for it to readjust, to change back. That's all. So yeah, Cedric Alexander, Cesaro, absolutely loved it, but my biggest biggest takeaway that's a negative on it, and I hate focusing on the negative so much because I always feel like I'm like that fuck knuckle Meltzer when I do that, but the only negative I could really say on this match was it started on the lead-in for the match came when Cedric got into the ring. They cut the commercial, and then they come back with Cesaro having Cedric Alexander in a chin lock from, you know, and just like, really? Just, But yeah, dug the match, had a hell of a feel, absolutely loved it. You know, nice pace, nice flow. These are two former Ring of Honor guys, you know, and I don't know, maybe I'm a little biased, maybe I could be a little biased on this, but personally I'm kind of hoping that at some point ACH, he gets the call up to Monday Night Raw. Him and Cedric Alexander can wind up working tag teaming. Guarantee they could do some high fly shit on Monday nights. You know? But yeah. So, match came to an end when Cedric, he started to build up a little bit of a comeback, went to go do a springboard off the top rope. Cesaro, boom, caught him with the uppercut, 1, 2, 3, that was it. This is one of the examples I'm talking about, aside from the first match with the Styles Clash pin, on how things are getting a little different because you're seeing wins come up different ways from different guys. I mean, you know, normally any other time you would have just seen AJ do a regular powerbomb on the mat and then a Styles Clash and pin Ray. Instead, you saw that. This one you would have saw, normally you'd have saw Cesaro do an uppercut and then a swing, sharpshooter, and then neutralizer for a pin. This one, no, just an uppercut. Different shit. Throw weird, different shit up against the wall whenever you can, see what sticks. I'm fucking for that. You know? Next up, we get... Now this, I would say, was the piss break. It was the War Raiders, now no longer going by the Viking Experience, or the War Raiders, or the War Machines, but now being known as the Viking Raiders, which, again, like I said last week, may not be a fan of the name, fully understand though, because you can't have characters change and develop without making certain changes and overhauls. Case in point, this. And they went against the Lucha House Party, and it was very much so what you expected. They fucking killed them. You put 300-something pound luchadors against a 240-something pound blue-collar Viking from Cleveland and a 300-plus pound Viking from the New England area, and what the fuck are you gonna expect? Them two are gonna fucking kill them. Now, hopefully this leads to them two getting some gold at some point down the road, or at the very least a title shot, because then, you think about it, they'll definitely be in the history books being the only team in history to be IWGP Tag Team, Ring of Honor Tag Team, NXT Tag Team, and then Monday Night Raw Tag. That's a hell of a list. So next up we get women's action, Becky Lynch versus Alicia Fox, but before this came to be, Becky cut a nice little promo on Lacey Evans, talking about on how, you know, she says she's a lady, but, you know, she's using her womanly styles, if you will, to garner favors and such. And so yeah, then Lacey comes out, says at Money in the Bank she's going to show Becky a woman's right, get the titles. Now, honestly, what I would prefer to see is Becky feud with one person on Monday night for the Raw title and feud with another person on Tuesday night for the SmackDown title, and then you know, you could do it just on this pay-per-view and then mix it up whenever, but have have her do double duty on pay-per-view, do one match and then another. Like, what? That way, because then that builds to her credentials saying she's the man, defending both. So anyways, Becky, Alicia Fox. It was nice seeing Foxy back on TV again. It's the first time she's been on there ever since that whole apparent Arn Anderson made her work drunk thing. And, not only that, seeing Alicia Fox on TV is always a good constant reminder that WWE Creative somehow found a way to make a wrestling character resemble any or all of my ex-girlfriends at any point in time. Yeah. Now, nice little bit of action, but it got real sloppy after the commercial break. I'm not gonna lie on that. It did. Made it a little sour for me. And match came to an end. Becky got the disarmer. What got me was the second it got locked in, you didn't even see Alicia tap or anything. And I don't know if it was the camera angle, but it showed from back here. Alicia's face was on this side. If Alicia was saying I give up, okay, but from TV viewing, it looked like Becky just locked it in, and then next thing you know, the ref rang the bell right away, almost like Montreal Screwjob-ish. It just, I don't know. I thought that was kind of a shitty finish. But after that, Lacey Evans came in, boom, hit a woman's right. Next thing you know, Becky, she got back up, boom, hit her with it again. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to piss Lacey off, but I've also been around female Marines, so I know firsthand not to get them mad. I'll save those stories for another time. Next up, we got Ricochet going against Robert Roode. Yes, that's right, you heard me. Robert Roode. Not Bobby Roode. Robert. And my biggest takeaway about this, not so much the name change, not so much the fact that he's being villainous-like again, being snobby, glorious, but more so that mustache he has, because now Robert Roode looks like a really jacked Ron Swanson. I'm just waiting for the glorious DDT to be renamed the Bacon DDT. Because I could just see it, like, I'm just waiting for Robert Roode to cut a promo. There's only two things in this world I hate. Lying and skim milk. I'm just waiting for him to do that. Okay, so back to the match. Roode was leading for pretty good, very much so in a very aggressive, I'm looking to show I'm a new man and I'm setting an example. Because before he came out, he cut a good promo saying on how, after their loss last week, him and Gable lost last week to the Usos, that they wound up, he's glad Gable left to go to SmackDown because he cut the excess weight he didn't need, and now he's, gonna treat Ricochet just like if he would if Roode was still here, or if Gable was still here, and kick him to the curb. And for the most part, Roode was leading it, and I dug the shit out of it because, again, fucking different. Match came to an end. Robert wound up hitting the glorious DDT. 1, 2, 3. That was it. And I could be wrong, but I believe this was the first penciled down pinfall loss for Ricochet. But I can honestly, I don't care much for win-loss records. I don't worry on, oh, did this guy get a pin? This could be the first loss. I don't think too much on that. But, for those that do care, that's some info for you. So now we come to the main event of the night. AJ Styles, Baron Corbin. Corbin, he was leading right up into the commercial. And after the commercial, it looked like Corbin, for the most part, he was leading it. you know, playing to the size game, also working AJ's ankle. At one point, Styles, he had the calf killer locked in, and gave Styles a little bit of time to get some momentum for his end. Started building it up on his pace. Started going good. Match came to an end when Styles, he eventually caught Corbin with the phenomenal forearm. 1, 2, 3. That was it. So, Money in the Bank, we're getting AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins for the Universal title. That's going to be fucking good. You know it. But how much you want to bet? Like I said, that fuck Knuckle Meltzer will only give it like 2 3/4 stars. But I guarantee if it was in the Tokyo Dome, he'd give it 1,000, right? So yeah, that is it for this week's show, folks. So, like on normal, do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes. Make sure you look for me on my Twitter at Tim Vicious. Do also got another account if I ever get ghosted or put in Twitter jail, Tim_Vicious. Do also have Facebook gimmick, Tim Ash. If you're gonna look for me on there from here or my Twitter, make sure y'all look for me. Make sure you let me know you found me on there from here. Big thanks to my executive producer, Ali Rewind Ben, who did provide the music for this week's show. Make sure y'all check out his music on iTunes, Spotify, and such. Details are down below. If you want one of these sweet-ass Ali Rewind shirts, hit me up and I'll talk to the man for you. Show that man some love and support. Also, folks, do not forget to follow all of these cool-ass cats right here on the Twitter. Axel Mulligan, Kenny Killer, DSB_IV, Cranky Grandpa has gone back to Cranky Asshole, Dazzy MWP, and Sergeant Curry Pants. And folks, like I always tell y'all, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck you.